Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. In today's episode, I got the homie Jasmine Daly, founder of Daly Analytics in the building. Jasmine, what's going on?
Oh, it's all good over here. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to chat and just get on. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, appreciate you taking time out today. So, Jasmine, we've done a number of these, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Jasmine, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Alrighty. So my name is Jasmine Daly. I am the founder and principal consultant of Daly Analytics, which is a data science and AI consultancy based in central Connecticut, serving folks globally, really focused on helping nonprofits and mission-driven organizations make sense of their data through custom solutions, tools, and training. And I've been doing that since 2023. Previously, working for a number of different large tech companies and organizations. And so I'm so happy to bring these skill sets to the folks that are doing mission critical boots on the ground work to really provide a lot of resources to marginalized communities.
Love it, love it. Love the purpose, love the passion behind it. Love everything that you're doing. So phenomenal stuff with it all. So thinking about your journey, you're right. You went independent 2023, but you've been doing things for a long time. What really compels you to get into data to begin with?
Yeah, so my background, I went to school for biomedical engineering, which was a lot of fun to study. My coursework, my professors, the opportunities to do research, but going into the workforce was less interesting, less flexible, less mentally stimulating. And I had always been doing sort of computational based projects on the side, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, just learning, and sort of made the transition after my first year and a half of being in the medical device industry. And then sort of found data as this really nice complement to having these really high technical skills, serving people, still being, I'm a nerd. I am on the keyboard. I am punching out code, but I love talking to folks. I love understanding their problems. I love trying to help them work within their constraints to really get out the outcome of like this blend of their gut intuition, all of the knowledge that they have in their head, their mental model, and pairing that with math and statistics and making really user friendly features. So it's just been like this really, what I feel like this really nice connection and progression for my career. And I feel like it's made sense as far as for what I like to do and how I like to be in service to folks.
Love it, love it. So, um, just a mixed bag, just brilliant. Connecting the human with the machine, with the numbers, and just doing a lot of different things with it. So that's super phenomenal. All right. So my next question I like to give with context of I was 17 and I worked at a hot dog stand and I'll never eat hot dog again because of whatever, right? So thinking about that, what's been your least favorite job to date that you ever had? And what was it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna say it's probably my first job, and I feel like a lot of people might say that, but I do feel like your first job right out of college, I wanted to be employed, and I was thinking less about future aspects, and just the culture was not a good fit. The domain wasn't a great fit. I do take away a lot of things from that role, and I'm like really appreciative and grateful for the opportunity. But it's really often like that is your sandbox, right? Your first job. You're trying to figure out. You're making mistakes. You're learning from folks. You're learning what you like, what you don't like, as far as like who you want to be around, what you want to do, and what you're trying to put out in the world. And so, yeah, my first role was it was challenging. I immediately started to understand, like, hey, this isn't for me. I need to figure out. I need to be, way more mission driven, way more computationally based. So yeah, first job was rough.
Yeah. We've all been there. Totally,
Yeah.
totally get it. You're up in the morning or late at night. You're thinking about like, nah, this ain't it, bro. So thinking about that. Awesome. All right. So next context, I have a philosophy I live by. Is called failing forward. Right. Everything you ever go through, you don't necessarily fail. You just learn from it and progress and grow. So with that in mind, what would you consider your biggest failure, and what did you really learn from that experience?
Ah, that's a great question. It makes you sort of like introspectively like look inward, and then you start thinking, "Oh, how many things have I failed at?" And you gotta just find one. But I think one aspect I think that's interesting for independent folks and consultants is I feel like the first year, like I was pricing and going after literally everything, and that's kind of a big failure, I would think, because you do want to say yes to the right things and you want to say no to the wrong things. But if you are not focused, if you don't have a good understanding of the market, like that, in turn, you're going to attract the wrong thing, the wrong type of client, the wrong engagement. And that took a really long time, and it's really hard to say no. But if you keep exercising that process, I think it makes for just a better, just consulting arrangement. You're also like doing a service for that potential client of like saying no and helping them to discern what they might need versus what you might need. And yeah, you can't be everything to everyone. Is a really big takeaway. And so I've definitely learned to be really selective, to really have a good understanding of when is the right time to say yes or no. And then it in turn leads to like I'm a lot happier, because I know what I can do, who I can do it for, and how I like to do it. So
Love that. And to all the independent consultants or people that are thinking about it, this is the most valuable lesson that you will ever learn is the ability to say yes or no. So follow up question to that: do you remember that moment in your consulting journey where you're like, I'm going to be more particular about saying no versus saying yes? Like, do you remember like that one? You don't have to say names or anything, but do you remember that moment like ingrained in your brain?
yeah, and I feel like it wasn't that long ago. I actually had some free a rare free weekend. I just did a little reflection time on the business and where I wanted to be doing things, and I have like a physical whiteboard in my office, and I went through and I made sort of like this table, and I like ranked off like projects first on like happiness, or how much revenue, or how mentally stimulating, and how the impact was. And I went through and I like sort of graded everything and scaled it based on like the spectrum of professional joy is what I like. And so that was sort of like the impetus of being like, all right, this is the point in time. I have the data, I have the numbers, like leveraging my skills also in the business from an operational perspective. Yeah, and that was at that time, and this was like truly, honestly, this fall where I was like, I gotta really exercise that no better. And so yeah, that's sort of where it came from. So I do recommend like apply your own data skills to your own business
Yeah.
if you can.
I love that. I love that because I feel like it's such a hard thing to do, especially when you're so revenue driven and current events and downward turns and just all the stuff that comes along with it. There's this internal feeling of I have to go get it. I gotta get it. I gotta get it. But then like you said, you're sacrificing your own happiness, well being, passions, mission, everything. So phenomenal and a great reminder for me right now as well. So thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that. That was awesome.
of
All right.
course.
So the target audience for this are people who are starting off in their career, trying to pivot into data. So thinking about that, what is one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out in their career?
Absolutely. I've really been fortunate enough to connect with a lot of folks who are also like trying to figure out their path, trying to figure out what the step is. And one question that I hear a lot is how do folks build out a portfolio? Because it all starts on like, yeah, what have I done? What can I do in the future? What different examples and projects? And I feel like a lot of folks that I've spoken to, they don't know where to start on building out a portfolio, and they're really intimidated by seeing people who have like decades of experience. Like, please don't measure yourself against everybody else. That is the definition of putting yourself in the wrong mental headspace. But also, like I tell people that I talk to, when you're starting out and you're wanting to build a portfolio, lean into what you find enjoyable. Like if you have a hobby, focus on that. Find data that mirrors your particular hobby. Come up with a question, a problem, figure out the techniques and how you would solve it. Boom. There's your portfolio. Rinse and repeat. Like, don't oversimplify it. Like, people, and I feel like folks that are employers or folks that are looking for external consultants, like your passion is so critical. People can sniff in authenticity, if that is the way I could phrase it. And so like folks starting out, like lean into your hobbies, lean into your passions, make that what gets you into the door, make that what sells you. And it doesn't matter if you think it's silly. Like I like birds. I liked beer. I like all kinds of things, and I would do projects on those. I would find the data. I would make it work, and it really goes a long way. So like following your hobbies,
Yeah.
as it can help lead you to your career.
Love that, love that, and it's awesome that you say that. Like my I got a senior data analyst role, and the reason I got that is because I did a dashboard on Marvel movies and their gross sellings. So it was just like I presented
Oh
like a
wow.
dashboard contest, and someone was just like, "Oh my god, like that was great," and it was trash looking back at it. Like it was just I could have done way better, but like you said,
Yeah.
passion projects and doing stuff out there, putting it out there, you never know who's looking. And they can smell the passion a mile away, especially now with all AI. They can tell if it's fluff and just something auto generated. So, phenomenal stuff. All right, Jasmine, where can listeners find you at online?
Awesome. So you can find me on dailyanalytics.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, a fair amount. So feel free to reach out, connect, email me, message, all that. I love just chatting with folks, new people to the industry, experienced folks. I'd love to figure out a way to be in service and help anybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out today. This was great. Like I said,
Thank
great
you.
reminders even for me as someone independent. So love the conversation. Appreciate you. And as I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.